Well, she went, I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances,
Was
but
that
emergency.
when they went to Egypt?
In order that she may proceed
I don't know. What do you remember? Have
to
you seen
Turkey. Is that
proceed to
an
Turkey?
emergency passport so she could proceed to Turkey? Would that
yeah,
be?
It looks like it.
That might be why she would need a passport to get out
To
of
Turkey,
the country and
yeah.
back again.
She lost it while she was in Rome, and she was on her way on one of those giant steamer tours. Because we have some pictures of her on a camel in Egypt.
That's grandmother. That's not Aunt Jessie.
It's not Aunt Jessie.
It's grandmother. Grandmother and her sister.
Aunt Jessie's not with them.
No,
Oh, okay,
that was
okay.
1922.
By grandmother, you mean your
That
grandmother?
was why Aunt Jessie was staying with me. With us.
Okay, because they went on that tour.
They went on that tour.
After the death of
Yeah.
your grandfather.
2 years after. She spent almost all of this, what he left her. And my father was horrified that she spent that money. And when my mother died, afterwards, in his will, he left it. My mother had only a specified amount at regular intervals to avoid something like that his mother had spent.
Yeah.
All of that
Inheritance.
inheritance
Yeah.
on that. She was gone for 4 months.
She was a grieving widow.
She was out having a grand time. She
Losing her passport.
the style of the time in Webster City still was these little lace collars with stiff bones in them, they stick up. She had a bunch of those collars made. She got to Italy or to Paris and had to throw them away. Nobody was wearing that anymore. So, and she wasn't about to be there, not in style, Oh, gosh.
Anyway, that's the description. It says she was 5 feet 2 inches tall, 23 years old, 23 and a widow.
No, this is Aunt Jessie.
Oh, this is Aunt Jessie. Sorry.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with that trip. Forehead high, eyes brown, nose straight, large, mouth large, chin not large, receding, hair brown, complexion dark,
Yeah.
face
Well, grandfather
brown.
was brown-eyed and dark. Yeah.
Okay. Rome, 3rd day of August, 1907. Well, there you go.
Well,
Emergency
I never
passport.
put that. I'm glad to know that because I didn't understand that. Okay,
What is this?
Jessie and I have no idea. 1901 trip to California. That's grandmother.
And Aunt Jessie.
And Aunt Jessie doesn't have a date on it other than the year. So whether there was Aunt Jessie had hay fever, so always all of her growing up years, they went to Michigan or northern Minnesota or wherever, different places, because of the hay fever season in the Midwest.
This looks a little bit like a staged studio
I'm
kind
sure
of
it was.
picture, too.
Oh yes, I'm sure it would be. Yeah.
The little burrow.
I can't
and
imagine
the-
grandmother sitting bareback and it not being staged.
And this looks to be like a sluice for a gold mine or
Yeah,
something,
something,
that they're
yeah.
putting in the picture.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is just
Another beautiful
another one of her
portrait.
dressed up, posed picture. Yeah.
Fabulous dress.
Yeah, because she was the banker's daughter, and they had money, and she was very much in the social circle, so that was the way she would be dressed.
When both Mom and Dad passed this year, as we broke apart, I realized there goes the center of the family is now gone for us. And all of the memory, all of the knowledge that we took for granted and
Yeah.
didn't pay much attention to is disappearing
Well, I
as
am
well.
very much aware of that now. That I can't talk to Mary about these things, because
Yeah.
Mary and I became quite close in the later years. That I'm the only one, and you really don't understand.
Yeah, yeah,
And I find that's bothering.
right.
But that's the way it is, So.
But it's just surprising you all left very nice written records of certain events, or you had your thematic writings, which will be.
You mean from the
You find
Our
your four
growing
kids.
up years.
Yes, yes.
Oh, thank God for those. Yeah.
Yeah, those will be very
Yeah.
fun to look at forever.
Yeah.
They're around for good. But there's an awful lot that's not around.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
even though we were a literate family, upper middle class,
Uh-huh.
after 2 or 3 generations, it's just disappears into the fog of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Now, my son, he doesn't know any of his cousins. I don't, and I hate to say it, but I don't think he's particularly interested, because he never. Well, he was in Iowa when he was just a young boy,
Yeah.
and in junior high age. Then was the last time, and there's no connection. Martha's the one that has the connection, and
But
that's
she's
important.
cultivated that more as an adult, right?
Yes, yes.
She's come back to the Midwest,
Yeah,
to law
and
school.
and she has no children.
Yeah.
So they're all of this thing. She's the one that would be interested. Who's to get it after she's gone? Yeah.
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to cultivate my grandchildren towards all of this, but I don't know how successful I will be at that either. Anyway, well,
So, well, it's interesting though, and this bothers me a little bit. These pictorial records are still here. There's not much known about them unless you have a
Yeah.
description.
uh-huh.
But the camera, these kinds of electronic forms, I'm not sure will be useful in 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
I see. Uh-huh.
I'm not so sure. These may be useful forever, and these movies we're making, technology changes so fast
it
you won't even
changes
be
so
able
fast,
to see
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You can
Well, I have
always
my
look at
old
these.
camera, and I got a new film for it. And so before you go, I want to take your picture on that, and have you take my picture on that too. So, but we'll do that the last thing.
Right. Anyway, more back to Aunt Jessie, or
Yeah.
Jessie. What, can you read those dates?
1915 to 1918. 1915
15.
to
1915 to
1918.
1918.
Yeah, somewhere along in there. Yeah.
Okay. She's back home, unmarried,
Well, that would be after the war. After.
working in the library. She was a
No,
librarian.
she wasn't in the library until in the 20s.
I see.
Uh-huh.
Here's another one of her.
Yeah.
She's in visiting Hazel,
And that's yeah.
and this is where she was found. I can't read it.
August 29th,
29th.
60.
Looks like 60 to me.
But there was it was
I thought I was in second grade when it happened.
It
Miss
was later
McMurray
than-
was 76. So if she was,
she was born in 1880. See, Daddy was 88, so maybe 84. Oh, just as a starting point anyway. 84, 94, 04, 14, 24, 34, 54, 64, 74.
you skipped 44.
Did I?
Okay, hang on. 84, 94, 104, 14, 24, 34, 44, 54, 64, she would have been 80. So it had to be 60.
Yeah, I'm lost.
She's 76 and 60.
Oh,
I'm going to fix
Okay.
that date then.
okay. Okay. All right.
So, I mean, a 76-year-old
Yeah.
lost in the woods for a while. She reportedly had gone out Sunday to hunt wildflowers.
Yeah.
You want to read this?
No, I've read it over and
Okay,
everything.
okay.
Uh-huh. And that was the crowd at.
Hazel's?
It must have been there. It must have been. Yeah.
There's Aunt Jessie. I
Yeah, that's
recognize
Aunt Jessie,
nobody
yeah.
else. Oh, I suppose cooks and wait staff.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Were you a cook there?
not in, where was this?
This is in Colorado. I mean,
Yeah, not Boulder, but above Boulder. What's the name of this place?
I can't remember. but you-
Ward. It was in Ward, Colorado.
You were.
I was never in Ward. I was in Estes Park.
Oh, I thought.
Scott and I
For some
both
reason or
spent
other, I
years
thought
in
that you were
Estes
also
Park.
hired by
No,
Hazel's place.
I
for
I
one
went to
year.
visit her once.
Maybe that was
Just
it.
knocked on her door, and she was retired in a small cabin in Ward, and was very paranoid and unhappy because Ward had become a pot producing, drug dealing
Oh,
center.
huh.
Had gotten away from her and
I
her
see. I didn't know that.
her-
Yeah.
way of living there. Hazel Schmall, it looks
Well,
like.
that was in her when she was younger.
Rangeview
definitely.
Ranch.
Rangeview Ranch. Yeah.
Town of Ward, Ward Star Route, Jamestown, Colorado.
Where did they meet each other? Hazel and
What,
Jesse.
what?
Where did Hazel and Jesse meet each other?
I think it was maybe Aunt Jessie found the ad for the ranch or something
Because of her asthma.
because of the
hay fever.
hay fever.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And that was how they got acquainted. How she found it, where she looked for it, I don't know. But
It said she went there from 1942 to the 1970s.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, she was still working at the library, so she only had 2 weeks off. Yeah.
Oh,
And then
is
after
that,
she retired, she left right after the 4th of July, and mothered Hazel. Yeah,
so your parents went out there too on occasion,
yeah,
or your mother anyway,
well,
both of them together.
yeah, they were there. I don't know if they were
That's a great
stopping there.
picture.
Well, anyway, we vacationed in Colorado, and I think because we went to see Aunt Jessie at the ranch,
I see.
and we had dinner there. I know.
Yes.
We were playing games, and guessing games, or anyway, the kind of games that we sat around a table or something. And Daddy, he was very assured of how he played games. And one of the women there says, "Now listen here, Sonny." And it took him. He sat back, and he had to laugh about it later because he wasn't used to anybody calling him Sonny. That was funny. So I was there then. So it was whatever it was. I don't remember the dates.
I'm surprised grandmother has a skirt on.
Well,
Whereas Hazel
ladies
looks
wore
like-
skirts. She bought pants finally for one of the Colorado trips in the late 1930s. Yeah, and that was and then she wore them gardening.
Skirts?
No,
pants.
pants,
Yeah, yeah.
pants.
I remember in the pants and gardening. So here's some pictures. It looks like.
Oh, that's Uncle Hugh. That was a portrait from his church.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here he is with
Let me
Aunt.
hold this up. This is. What do you remember of him?
I didn't know him very well. Mary knew him better. She was more home. He was very sure of himself and very sure of Aunt Helen. And I remember Mary speaking once about how he cut Aunt Helen down in making a mistake in bridge that really was rude and unkind. And Mary, but Aunt Helen didn't say anything, you know.
And Helen was your mother's sister.
Mother's sister, younger sister. Uh-huh.
And did she come once a year to visit you?
Yes, before she was married, she almost all in August she'd come for 2 or 3 weeks at least, every year.
Without him? With him?
Oh, she wasn't married until later on.
Okay.
That was before she was married. They were married when I was in high school, junior in high school. I graduated in 38, so they were married about 35, 1935. So before that time, all through the 20s, and so Aunt Helen came and spent the summer, the month of August, or most of it, with us. Yeah.
I was always, I loved her lilt, but I don't know where it came from. She had
Her walk.
No, there was a vocal quality
Oh.
about her that I wondered if she picked it up in Baltimore.
I don't think so.
She
I
just
don't
spoke
remember.
with a what I considered at the time an accent.
Huh?
That didn't stick with you.
Maybe so.
Anne looks like she, the cat that ate the canary here. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what she
Yeah, I don't know what.
just done.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember him being towering, like he was
Yes.
6'3" or
He's
6'4".
very tall. Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Here he is again.
And that's.
They got along as sisters.
Oh, they
Aunt
were
Helen.
very, very close. Yeah,
Yeah.
very close. I think Nancy told me once that she overheard Mother and Aunt Helen talking, doing the dishes, about that maybe the time would come when both their husbands would be gone, and Aunt Helen would come and live with Mother in Webster City.
Oh.
And of course, that didn't work out.
Well, you know, she did end her days in Webster City.
She what?
She ended her days in Webster City.
Aunt Helen.
Aunt
yes,
Helen,
yes. But of course,
Yeah.
this
To
was
make it back eventually.
Yeah.
But much later.